playing their CDs, and I grew up listening to Linda and Emmy and that sort of sound.
Okay.
And so when I first started singing, I don't know, I think the first time I opened my mouth and started singing along with Emmy Lou Harris, I was about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old.
Nice.
Then I didn't really think of anything about it. I was just a little fiddle player that was a pretty good fiddle player and played with the youth symphony, and so I didn't have any really expectations until my mom's an artist, and we were
An artist, a
painter,
not
painter,
a singer.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, we were at one of her art shows up in Grass Valley, and they had this sort of open mic sort of thing. I got to sing a song there, and I was like, wow, this is cool. And so then I was sort of hooked on it from then on, and then definitely Monty Mills, the Lucky Horseshoe Band, they were playing a concert in Templeton Park, and my dad walks up and he goes, my little girl plays the fiddle and she played Faded Love, and I think that really fit in with how you played. And so
Go, Dad.
Monty's very gracious. So he said, well, have him come up. So I played the song with a lot of wrong notes, and he asked, is that little girl in the audience again next year? And sure enough, I was. So then I played another song with him, and pretty soon that just sort of became a thing where like in August at the Templeton Park concert, I'd bring my fiddle and go to Monty's concert and play Faded Love with him, and then when I was about 10, 11, he would say, you know what, why don't you just stay on the stage? And I'd be like, uh-oh. and then he'd be like, he said, you know, just play, you know, how about take a break on this song? At that point, I had no idea what I was doing. But I just sort of listened to the melody and tried my best. And anyway, that's really how I got my start in the country, from listening to all the people in Monty's band. He introduced me to Merle Haggard, that sound.
Right. Okay, I want to stop you right there because now what I want to do is I want to hear you play country music.
Okay.
So let's do something, not one of yours, we'll come back to that.
Okay, sure.
We're playing something, traditional country. Go ahead and give me goosebumps and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, I think a good one to give me goosebumps with is Merle Haggard's Sing Me Back Home, and I love this song, and I hope you enjoy it. The warden led a prisoner down the hallway to his room and asked it up to say goodbye like all the rest. And I heard him tell the warden just before he reached my cell,
the only time I'm really sorry that we're on a radio show and not a TV show. Because one thing I've noticed about Amaya, every time we've gone to see her, she has something that you can't teach, and that's
Yes.
a stage presence.
She does.
When you are just sitting here in a chair doing a radio show in a little wine bar here in Morro Bay,
Well, thank
your
you.
stage presence still pops out.
Well,
There's
thank
something
you
you
very
really
much.
enjoy, entertaining folks
I really do.
and playing
Yeah.
folks, and it really comes across brilliantly. So
Thank you,
I
I'm
can see
glad.
now why Bedford was so impressed with you. Besides being cute as a button,
Oh.
you have a very great stage presence.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to say that one of the things that's very cool about her is this quality in her voice. And Emmylou Harris is my all-time favorite female country singer, and so I get that. But I also, so Bedford, tell us, where do you think? Because with this odd state of country music these days, and of course we're all hoping that. Like Casey Musgraves winning these awards and stuff is sort of a game changer because females have been totally, blackballed basically from the country music industry. But where do you think Amaya Rose, if you're looking down the line and trying to figure out where she's going to fit in music, not necessarily country, where do you think Amaya's place is in country music? Or in music?
Yeah, I see the bigger target. It's just, again, the ACM and the Country Music Awards. But that trail is, Alison Krauss is probably won more Grammys than any female artist, and she did it in that bluegrass Americana. As did, in fact, one of the first things Amaya, when she told me that the little, oh boy, she told me a real quick story that Lyle Lovett heard her sing and then put her on a show. And then I know Lyle Lovett, and Lyle Lovett knows what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's another artist in that Americana world, Lyle Lovett, and Nancy Griffith, and all that. So, and that's a great market itself. And then that's where Casey, I think, is moving country back to that.
Right.
Closer to that.
You
And
hear her voice.
Not a lot of people realize it, but country music is rooted in bluegrass.
Oh yeah.
That was the foundation of country.
And I think, and the nice thing is, despite all of some of the, evolution of country to some things that we don't always like, I always think it's just silly, and it always has to come back around. But there is this whole other Americana music area where all of these artists have been able to sort of congregate, waiting for country music to change back to what I like. So,
Well, we own that. We you talk about him, which was a big influence on her. I know Emmylou. I've done a show with her. Hearing Emmylou, but a step back with Emmylou, which that break in the voice is Maybelle Carter.
sure.
You know what I mean? So that was my first. It was almost that far back. To
So,
that.
You realize how
Amaya,
far back
which,
you're going.
Amaya, which came first, the chicken or the egg? People started telling you had these qualities like Emmylou, or him talking about Mabel Carter, and then you went back and listened to him, or did you already know those artists before people started making those comparisons?
I definitely already knew, Emmylou Harris. She was probably the first one that I ever really listened to and really was like, wow, I would love to be able to sing like that.
Yeah.
Can't have better influence than that.
No.
That's great. So, since you just did a Merle Haggard song, tell us the story. You had the opportunity to play a couple songs for Merle
Yes.
recently, not that long ago.
Yeah,
So tell us about how that came about.
Okay, well, I'll try to put this into a short story. So anyway, Merle was playing at the Fox Theater in Hanford in Monty Mills, told us that he's playing there, and he said, I know what time the buses are arriving, so you need to be there and just see if you can get in. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get in with the security back to Merle Haggard, And so anyway, I had my fiddle on my back, and I was wearing my black cowboy hat, and that always helps. and I was kind of walking. The security guys are like, what are you doing? You can't do this. So then I just sort of hung out around them, and they're sort of like, I can tell they're not really happy with me doing that. And so finally I was saying, I'm looking for Scotty Joss. He's the fiddle player. And to this one man, he goes, well, I am Scott Joss.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, awesome. And I said, well, is there any way that I could just get, backstage and see Merle? And he goes, okay, yeah, sure. And so I'm like, oh, awesome. And so I get a backstage pass on my
See,
wrist.
girls.
Yeah.
I would
Get
never
any,
got that pass.
not a shot, but a pretty girl, yeah. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, you could be backstage. Yeah, never
It
happened.
took me 30 seconds to
Yeah,
think.
I'm in the industry and I can't get backstage passes to the artists I represent.
Oh, I can't. I want to pay $500. I get that.
Yeah, I might be able to get backstage at a Callie Bobson concert if she remembers me when she's famous. But anyway, go ahead.
So, yeah, so anyway, then Merle's just sort of saw me, and I could tell he was kind of like, you know, who's she? And so anyway, this nice man that lives around here, Judge Mike, and he's put on a couple concert series. He goes, oh, I know you, Amaya. We have a mutual friend of Monty Mills, and he goes, I sort of know Merle, and he kind of drags me up to Merle, and he says, Merle, she's a fiddle player, meet her, her name's Amaya Rose, she wants to get a picture with you. And so he grabbed a picture with my iPhone and Merle, and I was like, yes, we've accomplished that. And then I let them do their sound check for a while, and Judge Mike says, why don't you just go back up on stage and hang out? So Merle says, you say you play the fiddle? And I said, yes. He goes, why don't you plug in? Let's hear what you know. I'm like, oh my gosh, well, this is awesome. And so I said, well, y'all know Faded Love? They're chorus. The band was like, yes. So we started playing Faded Love. Scott Joss and I in twin fiddle, and Merle thought that was really cool. And then he said, well, play another one. I said, how about Salt and Gravy? And he goes, you know that song? And I said, yes. His band said, well, we don't really know it. And Merle said, well, play it anyway. So I played it through, and then he said, play it again, which is pretty neat.
And when Merle Haggard says play it again, it's a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was really neat, and that's sort of the Merle Haggard story.
I'd like to hear one of your original songs. I've heard some of your originals,
Okay.
and I am very impressed with anybody that writes like this that's 15 years old and sings like this. I am impressed.
So let's listen to Amaya Rose.
Okay, sounds good. Here's one that I wrote, and since I do a little bit of yodeling, this one's called Yodeling Cowgirl. Just a yodeling cowgirl. I'm satisfied with just my pink pony, my black cowboy hat, and my guitar on my knee. Just a yodeling cowgirl. I'm going back in time to when a man was a man and he lead his family to the promised land. Just a yodeling cowgirl. Just a yodeling cowgirl. And if I ever marry, well, I guess it'll be to a boy who loves his horse more than a souped-up red Chevy. Just a yodeling cowgirl. I like a friend who's honest, tells you when you're wrong, stops you for a phone and listens to your songs. Just a yodeling cowgirl.
Now, 15-year-old Amaya Rose. And, man, there's not too many people that yodel anymore. The last, Jerry Jeff Walker, one of my favorites, used to yodel some, but I'm hearing a bunch of that.
Jewel is Yodel's son.
And Casey Musgraves.
Casey
too.
Musgraves.
Yeah, Casey does, and Jewel, I've heard
Yeah,
both of them.
yeah, and sometimes Casey Musgraves yodels when she sings too. I don't know what that means, but well, that's pretty awesome. So Bedford, is there going to be a we got a forthcoming Amaya Rose CD album? You guys got anything you're
We're
working on?
on,
Yeah,
the,
definitely.
we're on the way to record it in about 2 weeks in Hollywood. Tom Fletcher, who will be producing, who did a lot of the stuff with Toto and Air Supply, Peter Gabriel, and
Yeah.
some of the, worked in that. Ozzy Osbourne, all that good
Yeah, and I see
country
that
stuff.
Ozzy Osbourne, Amaya Rose. I see the I like it.
The dynamic kind of.
And if our listeners are on the Central Coast of California, where might they hear Amaya Rose playing or singing?
Well, I too have a website, and it's amayarosemusic.com.
Another great name. How you guys come up with these website names?
And
That's cool.
and I'm on Facebook, Amaya Rose Music.
There you
And
go.
I'm also on Instagram under Hot Fiddlin' Cowgirl. And
Okay, so that's a little harder to remember, but okay.
Yeah. And anyway, I will be posting. I do a lot of solo gigs just at wineries like this. So you can hear me doing some Linda and some Emmy and both originals. And I'll be posting those. Just check like my Facebook page and check my website. I'll let you know. Then I also will be doing some gigs with Monty Mills probably in the spring.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. And I recently had the opportunity to hear you down here at a Brian White Scotty Emmerich after party,
Yeah, that
playing
was
fiddle
amazing.
and singing with Scotty Emmerich.
yeah.
Yeah.
Scotty, who wrote a lot of Toby Keith's
Beer for My
Bigots,
Horse.
Beer for My Horse,
Love This Bar.
some songs for
Beer
Kitchen.
for My Man.
And we also heard Kelly Bobson get up and sing and
Kelly's
play
had a
with
couple songs with
Yeah.
Scotty.
so that was pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff happens down here on the Central Coast of California, and there's a lot of very talented people. We are going to sort of wrap this one up because there's an open mic night getting ready to break out down here at Morro Bay Wine Cellars. So we want to thank Lee Vaughn for letting us come down and do a couple This has become like our unofficial headquarters of the Ken and Chris show. It's kind of like the Armadillo World headquarters in Austin City Living. Sort of got that thing going on, especially with some of the characters that have been joining us, like Buffalo Benford. And thank you, Buffalo Benford, for bringing Amaya Rose.
pleasure.
Thank you, Maya Rose,
Thank
for
you
being
for having
on
me.
this show with us. And I really enjoy talking to you. We're going to have to get you back on another episode, and particularly after you get your album done. We're talking to you, I feel like I'm talking to somebody that has been in the industry for a long time, and that's very cool. And I think your music is very refreshing. So
Thank you
thank
very
you
much.
for
We're
doing
really
that
excited
stuff.
for your career, and we, like Bedford, can really see great things for your
Well,
future.
thank you.
Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and
Oh
day
no,
to
this is really fun.
come over the hill like Callie did and come
Yeah.
down here.
Down to the wine bar where you cannot drink wine, but you can
Yeah.
Just so we
want
wanted
to
to
thank
say.
Callie for turning the bay into wine with.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, thank you. That wraps up another episode with 18 seconds left of the Ken and Chris show. Thank you for being here. See you soon.
Got that applause machine in there.
Yeah, I know.